Hello and welcome to Where Are They Now with Mario Tanaguzzi on Megapix Media. Joining me today is Mike Siroishka, who is Business Development Manager at Zula Process Equipment. Thanks for joining us today, Mike.
Thanks for having me, Mario. Good to see somebody famous who's had COVID.
Yes, indeed. I have. For all those people out there, I did recover quite well many months ago.
Excellent.
So, Mike, we're going to talk a little bit about your career, but also about your going back in time in your dyno playing days. But let's start with what you do right now with Zula. Tell me what Zula is and what you do.
The Zula Process Equipment has been around since 1963. Does industrial fabrication and packaging of mixing equipment, storage fluids mixing, mechanical mixers, inline mixers. We have vacuum pump, a bush line, and do repairs and packaging with that. And we also are Alberta reps for Milton Roy injection pumps and utilize and create and have engineered injection packages. And a lot of it is equipment that's for oil and gas, but it can spread out through other industries as well. So that's what's helping us keep the doors open right now.
Okay, how did you get into this line of work?
Well, I know the owners of the company right now, the Zula brothers, Kerry and Yuri Zula. They were high school friends as well. They went to Bishop Carroll here in Calgary, but their father, Stanley, started this company, Ukrainian immigrant way back when, and went through engineering school, SAIT, UBC, and then decided to create his own company. And I've been in touch with these guys for quite a while and had an opportunity to land a spot when 3 years ago they were looking at trying to create more of an outside sales force. So I got involved with them at that time.
Okay, great. Well, you mentioned the Ukrainian background, Ukrainian heritage, and Mike, people know you for one thing, right? And 1980. Well, and they know you for many things, but the one big thing they know you for is 1983. Vanier Cup, University of Calgary Dinosaurs beat Queen's University. You scored the game-winning touchdown. How many yards was that from Vavra? Greg Vavra quarterback pass?
31.782 yards.
And what changed and what happened next brought you lots of fame, I guess. Yeah, you did the
15 minutes, I guess, Mario.
Yeah, did the Ukrainian dance in the end zone. Tell me what was going through your mind in doing that.
Not too much. The fact that I went and did something so crazy like that, but there's sort of a bit of a background story, and that whole year was such a fantastic time. But the background quick story was that in one of the final games of the season, we were playing Saskatchewan. That was Greg Vavra's world record, Guinness book at the time, Sports Illustrated, completions and total yardage and touchdowns. And we were near the end of the game, and he said, "Who hasn't caught a touchdown yet?" I said, "Me." I said, "All right, just go do this Z out post corner." Did it, caught a touchdown, was so excited. I did the Ukrainian dance. And when I got to the sidelines, Pete Cannellan said to me, "You never do that ever again." And I'm like, "I'm sorry." I go, "What if I score the winning touchdown in the Vanier Cup?" And he goes, "Well, then I'll come out and do it with you." So nothing happened after that. And then when that moment happened in the Vanier Cup, it was like I just went into idiot mode and just snapped into and doing it. It was my Baba always said, my grandmother, Ukrainian, it's Baba. She said, "You know what, all those guys do those dances when they play football. Why don't you do a Ukrainian dance sometime?" And I go, you can't do that. But I ended up doing it, and there you go. That's my claim to fame.
So tell me, when you look back on that, especially that 83 team, what were some of the reasons for the success of that team?
I think, a lot of it was the talent and the coaching and the university support. Started from the top with Dennis Kadatz, who's passed on, but he was the athletic director back then and supported the team. We had a lot of family and parent support as well. Our parents were the ones that actually started the famous fifth quarter Dino alumni dinner that we run every year in March, April. And Peter Cannellan and his coaching staff, and the majority of the coaching staff were ex-players that were giving back. And that was sort of Peter's success, was to have and find people that wanted to give back after their playing career, and those that had the love of the game. So our coaching staff, and then again, just incredible talent, Greg Vavras, Josh Borgers, Ken Zarka, Randy Guy, Tim Petros, Tom Spaltini, Tony Spaltini, Cam Fordyce, Hodgson. Like we had them all.
Yeah,
I'm missing out a lot of guys, but I would do Darcy Kopp on purpose if he's going to be watching this later.
So what do you think you learned from that team and from those playing days that helped you, as you moved on in life and into different careers and jobs?
Well, sport is incredible, especially team sport, because one thing that you pick up on is leadership. So if you're watching how leaders are leading you and how you get manipulated or incentivized into operating a certain way, you also learn to role play or to have a role. And for myself, that was big. I wasn't catching the ball all the time. I was only catching, majority of my catches came near the end of the game, and I had a lot of scoring opportunities. So you learn to, accept your role and do what you had to do. And I spent that entire game setting up that one route that I ran to score that winning touchdown. I only had 3 catches, and they were all near the end of the game. So playing a role and feeling good about it and contributing. But you do that when you have good leadership that kind of packages it up and lets you know that's how we're going to be operating. And when you see your teammates accepting their roles, and it just creates some of that magic dust that creates championship teams, I think.
Yeah. Now that championship team was the first for a series of Vanier Cup wins over the years of the Dinos program. But how important do you think that 83 Vanier Cup win was to the profile of the program and also the profile of the university overall?
I believe it was instrumental. It kind of created a base or a platform for acknowledgement of athletics at the school, and that allowed the school to recruit sponsors, recruit players and students, but a lot of it too it's all about money and having corporations in town. And at the time, Calgary's economy wasn't very great in the early 80s, mid 80s, as we know. So we had corporations and people from Husky. Bill Popwell's got involved. Kent Warnock's father, I think, was involved with Husky at the time, and they came in. But it kind of opened up opportunities for corporations to help and get involved. And I think that was key for the program. And it also, championship creates giving. It's when you're successful, you want to give back. And a lot of the players that won in that gave back through the community in high schools coaching. Yeah. If you look at the Calgary high school system right now and how many Dinosaurs alumni that are involved with the high school coaching, it's incredible.
That's the one thing that I always come back on. And for those out there that don't know me, I was in Toronto that day at 83 and joined, covering the team that year and in 1984 as well. But what has always struck me over the years is 2 things: is how three things actually. How close knit that team continues to be. A lot of you guys still kind of hang out and know each other and follow each other type thing. You mentioned the community support, but the other thing that also strikes me is how successful people have turned out. Owners of business, community leaders, etc. Do you find that interesting? Just the dynamic from that team and how things.
No, it's true. You see personal success in relationships. I've a lot of the teammates I was with got involved with the police force and the fire department and have worked their ways up. They're captains, they're lieutenants. They are people in business in the oil and gas industry. I think you've also interviewed somebody, Doug Nyhoff, who I played with, that is quite successful and is in the finance capital game in Texas. And I believe that, you know, when you have that success and you have your role playing and you learn tactics and the discipline of being a high level athlete, you look at the Olympians and they end up in careers. But that focus, and someone like yourself, you moved on a time when the oil and gas industry was awful in the early 80s. You came to Calgary, to almost not a dying city, but a city that was just being decimated downtown. And you had to sort of start your career in a hard place. And I remember you around in those days, a young pup, learning your gig like I was learning my football role. But I've seen the guys being quite successful, and it's good. And I think that's what's kept us close. Calgary's a great city to stay in and try to achieve further success beyond football. So that was a big help too.
Okay. So Mike, when's the last time you did the dance?
Probably the last time I was awake at 1:15 a.m. at a wedding and had a few vodka clamatos inside. But no, it comes out once in a while at family events and at weddings. It's Kolomeka, everybody gets in the middle and they do it. But it's fun to see. My kids, actually, my son sent me a gift the other day. There's me doing the Ukrainian dance in a gift. So I'm like, hey, my 15 minutes of fame now is now 3.2 seconds, used over 875 times.
Hey, you know what? You bring up an interesting point, because I remember a few years back, there was a kind of a reunion thing, like one of these anniversary things at Spalumbo's. And they were playing the video of that game. And for many players, they had never seen the game itself. I'm assuming you saw a video of your dance, right? Eventually?
I did, and I actually think I did the dance at Nick's on the floor when we were at the restaurant watching the game to let everybody see how it was. So, yes.
Okay, super then. Well, hey, thanks a lot for joining us today, Mike. That was great.
Okay, Mario, and congratulations to you on doing this. That's good, as Ed Whalen would say, stick-to-itiveness. So it's good to see you doing this and supporting the community, and thanking Spalumbo's for supporting this program here and what you're working with. I love that. I love them.
Okay, super. Thanks, Mike. That was Mike Siroishka, who is Business Development Manager at Zula Process Equipment. This has been Where Are They Now with Mario Toneguzzi on Megapix Media. Thanks for joining us today.